Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today we are going to work on a centerpiece for Thanksgiving. Now we're starting out with a long, low green design bowl. Very inexpensive from Direct Floral is where we order ours by the case. And then this is a block of fresh floral foam. Now I did trim it up just a little bit. I cut a little bit off the end and then I trimmed up the top because I didn't need it to be quite as tall as it was. So I just trimmed that up. Now anytime I do that, I always put the remnants of that fresh floral foam right into our bucket where we keep our foam soaking. And that way it can be used and tucked into other things. So I taped in my fresh floral foam. Now anytime working with floral foam, you want to soak it first, okay? So always soak your foam first and then be sure to fill the reservoir of your container with fresh water. That's just going to help keep your flowers fresher for longer. We are going to do just some beautiful autumn colors, reds and golds, some greens and some oranges. I'm going to start out with my hydrangeas. Now, usually when I make a design, I like to do my greenery first, but today I am going to put my flowers first and then add my greenery last. I'm going to start out with these mini green hydrangeas. I am going to leave a few of the leaves on the stem. I'm going to take my floral knife and I'm going to cut that stem at an angle and I am going to dip it in Quick Dip. Now Quick Dip is a hydrating solution that helps to keep your hydrangeas hydrated. I'm just dipping it right in there, count to about 7 or so, and then press that flower right into that floral foam. I've got 2 more stems. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm removing that plastic wrap. Now usually we leave the plastic wrap on our flowers in the cooler because it just puts a protective layer over these blooms. Our cooler is a metal-sided cooler, and if in case the flowers get too close to the edge of the cooler and touch the walls of the cooler, it might cause damage to these blooms. So we like to leave our plastic sleeves on until we use them. So I'm popping off some of the leaves. I don't need quite all of them. Cutting that stem at an angle, dipping it in Quick Dip. Now, most of the time you will hear me say, pull all of the foliage off of the blooms. And the reason you do that is because when that flower goes to drink the water of that stem, just like a straw, it has to stop off at each of those leaves. Now, when I cut the stems very short, it usually doesn't have that far to travel. The water doesn't have that far to travel up that stem. So I don't mind leaving some of the foliage on the blooms. So there are our 3 blooms of hydrangeas. Next we are going to come in with, let's see what else we have over here. We have some beautiful red Gerbera daisies. So look at how pretty and bright and bold these blooms are. I'm going to take my floral knife. I'm going to cut that stem at an angle. And I'm going to press that Gerbera right down into that fresh floral foam. I'm going to take my second stem and on the opposite side, I'm going to press him right down into that foam. I'm going to grab my Lazy Susan so I can spin it so it's easy for you to see instead of me turning and turning. So on this side I added the Gerbera kind of across that design. Okay, next we will come in with some pretty mums. So these are called disc buds. It's kind of a coppery color, orangey coppery color in that mum. I love a chrysanthemum. I just think they're so pretty and they're so long lasting. I'm going to take that, I took that stem and I cut it with my floral knife at an angle and I just pressed it right down into that foam. Now, anytime you are working with fresh flowers and floral foam, you want to be sure to add water daily. It is going to keep your flowers fresher for longer. So I just tucked those mums, and I kind of did like a jagged line kind of across this way. So there's those pretty apricot or coppery colored mums. Next, we're going to come in with some pretty roses. So this is kind of, it almost matches my sweater, doesn't it? It's kind of a yellowy orange, really a pretty bloom, but pulls this autumn color perfectly. So I cut that stem. I am going to pop off a few of the petals that don't look so pretty. Just go ahead and pop those off. You're not hurting the flower when you do so. And I'm going to press that rose right down into that foam. These are such a pretty yellowy orange color. Okay, so there's those beautiful roses tucked in. Next, we're going to come in with a little Solidago aster. So of all the fillers there are, Solidago is my favorite. It's long lasting. It's yellow, which is my favorite color, so that makes a little bit of a difference. But it's so easy to break apart and to use it in several different places in my design. So I'm going to show you exactly, because I didn't tell you what I was doing when I was doing it. I'm taking that Solidago and I am popping the tip right out of it. I'm taking that piece and just pressing it right down into that floral foam. And then here's the second half of it, and I'm just going to nestle it right down low. So I'm able to incorporate 3 stems of Solidago all the way throughout a design. It just makes it go further. When you break it apart. Okay, so there's our yellow Solidago. The next flower we're going to use is a little bit of blue thistle. Now, for me personally, blue thistle I love because of its texture. It kind of has a spiky, fun little texture, and then it's got that pretty blue color. Now, another thing about thistle is it's kind of like that Solidago. You can take it and cut it into pieces and then insert it using several different stems, for lack of a better word. So you've got a lot of pieces that can kind of go throughout the design instead of having to use it in one big stem. So here's one stem. I can cut it into smaller pieces and I'm able to work it throughout my design. It paints really well. So if you have it and it's starting to have dark spots on it, hit it with a little bit of paint. You can hit it with any color. We have hit it with maroon when we needed a pop of maroon throughout an arrangement. In the Christmas season, we have taken it and painted it gold or silver, and it works great as a fun little accent with a metallic color. But it's just a really pretty, fun, textured filler flower. The next flower we're going to use is these orange Babe Spray roses. Just like the Solidago, just like the thistle, when you have a stem that has multiple flowers, and how in the world these got tangled, I'm not sure. When you have a stem that has multiple flowers, like the thistle or the spray roses, or even daisies, we've got some daisies we're going to tuck in. I like to, with making a low design, is take them and cut them apart, just like I showed you with the Solidago and with the thistle. You're just going to take them and you're going to cut the individual stems, and it has one flower on a stem. And that way you are able to work them all the way throughout your design without having to use several different stems of flowers. We do here at our shop, we do a lot of bubble bowl designs, which are low and compact. You can see this one that doesn't have long stems. So I'm not able to cut this one apart. So I'm just going to use it as one. All right, to finish our design, we're going to add a few of these sweet little daisy mums. They're kind of a bronzy color with a little bit of yellow and then the dark maroon centers. Again, just like our other flowers, I'm going to take them and I'm going to break them into individual stems. And we're going to press those throughout our design. I love the little dark centers of these daisies. Now the wonderful part about chrysanthemums is they come in so many varieties. And often here at our shop, we will order from a company called Budsy, and we order a mixed box of mums. And so you never know what you're going to get. And they're just so fun and different. So it's a lot of fun to get the daisies. So I'm just taking each individual stem and I'm just cutting them right off that. All right, so after I get these done, we're going to add our foliage. Now, I have gotten to where when making these designs, and I say I've gotten to where because I'll change it next week, but when making designs like this, I find if you'll add your flowers first, you're going to use a lot less foliage. So we're going to start out with some grevillea. This is a tinted grevillea, and really we don't need much. I'm going to probably use less than one stem. Grevillea normally comes in a pretty green. It has this serrated looking leaf, and I'm going to take it and break it into smaller pieces just like I have our flowers, and we're just going to kind of tuck this throughout. Now the wonderful part about this tinted material is it gives us a pop of color throughout our design, which adds, in my opinion, to the autumn feel. It just kind of gives us a little more of an autumn color. And look at all that pretty autumn color it adds to it. I love it. Now we also got the grevillea from Budsy. They do have some tinted materials, which I really like. I like to be able to use those pretty tinted materials. They have them, often they'll have them in the fall and in the winter with all of the winter colors, perfect for Christmas. They even have, we ordered some metallic gold Israeli ruscus that we're going to work into some of our designs. So it's really kind of a fun added touch to your arrangements. Now this is called Silver Dollar Eucalyptus, and you can see it has really large round leaves, and so they kind of look like a silver dollar. Again, I'm going to take it and cut it into smaller pieces, and we're just going to tuck it throughout our arrangement. And I like to kind of go along the edge of the design and make sure that we're covering up all of our mechanics. It is very important that you cover up that foam, that fresh floral foam. It's almost like your slip. Right underneath a dress, you want to make sure that your slip isn't covering, or your underpants, right? You want to make sure that they are not being seen. So you want to go around your design and check the edges and make sure you have covered that fresh floral foam so that it doesn't show. And so you can see me kind of bending down and looking underneath the flowers to make sure that I'm covering that fresh floral foam. And I do love the way the eucalyptus kind of gives us some movement in the design too. It just kind of, I don't know, it gives a little bit of whimsy to the design. And I love those leaves. Now the one thing I would like to add to this arrangement is a couple of stems of red hypericum berries, and I have the money left because I didn't use all of the greenery that I took into account. So we're going to add a few red berries. Now the reason I'm choosing to add the red berries is because I have a Gerber daisy here on the front that's a beautiful red, and then a Gerber daisy here on the opposite side that's a pretty red. But we don't really have any red throughout the design. So I'm going to take 2 stems of red Hypericum berries. I'm going to just break those off and nestle those right down into the design. Now what that does is it pulls that red all the way through and makes it look like a more cohesive design. All right, and here is our finished fall centerpiece. Now the flowers we used include the mini green hydrangeas, and they're kind of tucked through the center of the design. Kind of see it tucked on the end there. The next flower we used were the beautiful red Gerber daisies, one on each side of the design. We used those beautiful orange roses, and then the orange spray roses. We used the copper colored or the almost apricot colored moms, and then the daisy moms. Then we used the thistle as a filler flower, yellow solidago as a filler, the grevillea, which is the painted grevillea. Our foliage included the grevillea, which is a tinted material, and then the silver dollar eucalyptus. But I think it's such a lovely design. Tell me, what do you think? Guys, do me a great big favor. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It's a simple and free way to help support our little flower shop. If you have not subscribed to our channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button right down below. We hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we will see you real soon. Thanks, guys.